Successful people who got crappy grades in high school or college, what are you doing now and how did, or didn't, your grades affect your success/career? Teach college and give other people bad grades. It's the circle of mediocrity. As far as the grades go, nobody looked at them after I graduated. I got really bad grades in both. When I was in my early 30s, I had a big chip on my shoulder about it and started taking college classes at large, one at a time. The motivation I had to do well in them was incredible. After a while of that, I was able to take my new transcripts and use them to get into grad school. No one cared that I had gotten poor grades 10 years earlier. Not super extremely rich, but I'm a plumber and I make as much as some of my software engineer friends. The Asian way, family business. I was a very good pupil, up until tenyo, then it went from not great to pretty bad to awful to get that guy out of my school. I'm talking grades. I was not particularly well behaved all the time, especially a bit confrontational when I had a feeling of injustice, but several of my teachers were still quite fond of my smartass. I ended up trying many different curriculums, mostly IT stuff, failed every single one of them up until the point I could do nothing more but start to search for a job. At 26, with my biggest diploma being the basic one everybody in my country pass at 17 or 18, and even that one I got at 22, at my third attempt. Then as soon as I started to work, things felt much more real than at school, much more fun and motivating. I started to find solutions to problems people didn't even knew they had, and after years of being the weird kid at school, I suddenly became rather well liked by all. It boosted my confidence, playing with the systems upped my skills, and everything has been great ever since. I have now a very good position as a senior system engineer in a huge international structure, my bosses are very happy with my work, and I'm very happy to have the latitude to set myself most of my agenda. So, bad grades? It did not affect my career at all. Somehow, as a kid, I had that weird feeling that my grades weren't going to be important in the long run, and that's how it unfolded. I'm now rather proud of my accomplishments, especially as being so bad at school left so many people thinking I was dumb, and my apocalyptic grades add a nice backstory when discussing my career. Though I always stress, when talking about it with kids, that I have been extremely lucky, and that the probability of such a happy end when you suck that much in school are extremely low. I am currently a scientist and enjoy doing research. I come from a country where emphasis is on memorizing rather than learning and applying the said knowledge. I failed a lot during school. Luckily, when it was time to look for universities, sister campus of a well-known university opened where I lived. Their entry requirements were not that bad. I got in and my grades improved massively as I could apply what I learned. Moved countries to do a master's and a PhD, and here I am now. I still curse my original country's style of education. Edit. Thought this would be buried here, but my fellows Indians found me. Yes, I am Indian. I got C's in high school and failed out of college, twice. I then joined the Marine Corps, got out and used my GI Bill to get my bachelor's and master's degree, successfully. I now work in a major corporation doing data analytics and logistics work and make a pretty great salary with tons of potential to make a lot more since my company only promotes from within at the levels I'm at. I'm also in the process of starting my side business, that will hopefully go full-time in the next few years, with some of my savings from my career. My family lives a very comfortable lifestyle with nice cars and a nice house. Although I did fail out of college, twice, I did wind up getting 2 degrees. I just want people to know, since a lot of former Marines always tell me this. Even if you aren't book smart or a school person, go get your damn degree. Especially if you have the GI Bill. I hated every second of school, despised it, but stuck through it. Even if you don't have the GI Bill, student debt isn't as bad as Reddit makes it out. I had some from when I failed out of school, twice. My wife has her master's degree and it more than pays for her student loans. We both worked full-time and got our degrees at the same time, with kids. Community colleges are cheap, and state schools aren't bad either. Just work hard, put in more effort than those around you, and most of the time you'll succeed. My husband and I are opposites. We're both intelligent, but I was very motivated to get good grades at school etc., whereas he was not. We met at university where I once again outperformed him when we graduated. I initially got the better paid, better jobs and was the main earner. Then, he got employed at a world-renowned company in an entry-level job but in a sector he was passionate about. It also turned out, when motivated and interested in the subject matter, he has a genuine talent for innovation. Within 8 years, He worked his way up from a bottom-rung grunt on a temp contract to an associate director, who, when he got headhunted by another company, was given a 40% pay rise as a counteroffer to keep him, because it was acknowledged how valuable to his company he is. He has the most motivated team in his section of the company. I, on the other hand, lost motivation, got trapped in a role that has de-skilled me, and when I applied for a role, was told my degree is no longer relevant because it's over 10 years old. So, in summary, grades are bullshit, and it's more important to find something you enjoy and are good at, in my experience/opinion. Got a GED after flunking out of high school. Struggled a few years. Went to community college and left with a 2.6 GPA and a general studies associates. Went to university and majored in the most generic thing possible, psychology. Graduated with a 2.7. Basically always doing the minimum. 10 years later and I'm happy. Married with 3 kids. Moved us to a new state in an area where it's not at all competitive because I'm lazy. Got a decent stress-free job in quality assurance. Own a home. So basically lazy but smart enough to go through the motions and know myself well enough to end up in a spot where I'm happy even though it was far away from my starting point. I'm currently experiencing this. Average grades and can't find an internship which I require to graduate. Stressful times could do with some hope lol. My parents never thought I would ever go to college. In fact, growing up, my brother always made honor roll and got really high test scores and got a full ride to college. My test scores were really low, my grades were very middle of the road, and I was offered only one $500 scholarship. So, not much. After dropping out and working a bunch of dead-end jobs in my 20s, I went back to school and tried again. No one thought I would finish. I ended up finishing 2 degrees in 5 years, and now I work at a 4-year university on professional staff within academic affairs, and I make quite a bit more than some of my peers. Everyone I work with assumes that I made stellar grades in high school. I had some serious depression in college that tanked my grades. I managed to end up with a 3.0 GPA, but I failed several courses in my major. I pretty much had A's or F's. I did well enough and interviewed well enough that I got a job. It has mostly affected me in that I'm worried I won't get into a good graduate school program because of my crappy grades in my major. I haven't applied, but I know I would do well now that my mental health is in order, and I know my grades don't show that. I'm a factory worker that owns property and is working on getting a farm going. Considering I don't have any loans out yet, I'd say I'm doing well lol. I live with my grandma since I need to get going on phase 2 of my plan, and she's letting me chill until I get my house built in 2021. Everything I own has been obtained through hard work, but none of it can be taken away since it's 100% mine. I was a very average student through high school, and even more average during university, even repeating a bunch of units as I struggled through. But I got there, and graduated with a degree in chemistry. Been a good ride since, successful in instrumental analysis AMD managing laboratories, and now earning well over 6 figures internationally in the oil and gas industry. My grades never mattered, the piece of paper merely served as a key to many doors. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please consider to leave a comment and subscribe. Even a like would help. Let us grow together.